Hey, what's up guys? I'm currently 2 weeks out from the New York Pro. Wanted to show you one of my push sessions, which, we're typically always doing like body part splits in bodybuilding that are, you have a chest day, an arm day, or you have a back day. So I've been doing this type of split for a while. I just haven't necessarily ever called it push, pull, legs, but that's what I always end up usually going back to. So for this push session, you have to keep in mind that volume is definitely reduced since I'm 2 weeks out from a show, and that's my main thing that I change as I'm progressing on prep. My intensity stays the same, the reps I'm using, but all I usually am dropping out is the number of sets that I am doing. So maintain intensity and drop back volume. That's the best way to maintain muscle and even grow in the early stages of prep. So what I do in this push session is I start out with my first 3 compound movements, and so I want to get the most from my big lifts and try to maintain strength on those lifts. So I start out with a flat plate loaded press machine. The machine at the gym is so old there's not even a name on it, a brand. So it's just a plate loaded machine, kind of like a flat hammer strength press. That would be another variation if you don't have this type of machine. But start with a flat press just for more kind of mid-pec development. Work up to a hard set of 8 to 10 reps. Then I back down and wait for a set of 12 to 15. And on all these pressing movements, make sure you're keeping your shoulder blades, your scapulas retracted and pulled down back. You want to really tuck those shoulders underneath you, get a good platform to press with, and make sure you have a strong base, and that'll also help with your stability, but let you give a better platform for strength improvements. And also, if your shoulders are rounding over, you'll press with more shoulders versus your chest. So after that flat pressing movement, I moved on to an Icarian incline press. So I hit some mid-pec fibers, going to move on to like an upper pec movement. Same principles apply here as set protocol. I just work up to a hard set of 8 to 10. Then I back down to weight to do a set of 12 to 15 reps. And that wraps it up on my compound movements for chest press, for chest. Next was my shoulder pressing movement. And for me, I'm trying to bring up chest, so I'm always putting my chest movements first. And then I have my shoulder movement because my shoulders are warm at that point, so I think it's a safer time to put it. Now, if you're trying to bring up shoulders, you could always put your shoulder pressing movements first and your chest movements second and third. But I move on to a selectorized weight stack shoulder press machine, just like a plate loaded shoulder press. I like this one because I can sit back away from the handles a little bit, and I'm really pressing out in front of me, so I don't have a whole lot of external rotation. The elbows aren't flared out at 90 degrees, which really puts a lot of compromise to the rotator cuff and the shoulder joint itself, so I can keep those elbows tucked and hands out in front of me. And I think that's a better way to press on all your movements. So I'll rotate between this shoulder press machine you're seeing in the video and like hammer strength press and a Smith machine press, but all of them I can keep my hands out in front of me. Same set protocol in these, work up to a hard set of 8 to 10, then back off for a set of 12 to 15 reps. Now after completing my compound moves, I'm going to move on to some isolation work and a little bit higher rep work to create more metabolic stress and more pump. And so my first moves I do are isolation work for chest is a standing flat cable fly directly into a decline cable fly. So if you set your cables up correctly, they should be just about chest level to where you can perform a fly that's like a flat motion, hitting kind of mid and maybe a little bit of upper pec fiber. And then once you hit failure, just lean over a little bit and bring the hands down towards like the belly button to hit more of a decline lower pec fiber. And that is just a stronger position. So you're moving from a weaker position to a stronger position. So you should be able to get a few more reps in that position. Just did 3 sets there. Try to hit 15 reps in the first set, and I just leave the same weight on. So, with the second and third set, the reps are going to be dropping down. But initially, that first set, aim for 15. Moving on from there, I go into some side delt and work, a little front delt as well, doing a machine lateral raise into a lying cable upright row. Now, machine lateral raise, you're very restricted in this position, so you don't have a lot of swing like you would with dumbbells. I keep my hands off the handles so I can really just drive with the elbow. And on the lying cable upright row, I love this. This is one of my favorite ones for side delt because also your back's in a fixed position, so you're not going to swing like you would on a normal upright row. And it's much more controlled. And you also, using a cable, you get really good tension throughout the entire range of motion. And but the whole idea on both moves is you don't want your arms going above 90 degrees from the body. Keep them parallel to the ground, and make sure you're not getting a lot of external rotation and bring a lot of front delt into the movement. So on this one, shoulders aren't my huge emphasis, so I've dropped back volume. So I'm only doing 2 sets and aiming for 15 to 20 reps in the first set. Again, if shoulders is more of an emphasis for you, you could up that to 3 sets and back down your chest isolation work to 2 sets on that superset. Last thing, moved on to triceps. Arms is just in general a really strong body part for me, so 2 exercises is more than enough. And I do pick one of them as a compound movement that involves chest as well, so I get some additional volume with it being a secondary mover. So I start with an overhead tricep extension using like an easy bar on the cables. Hit a lot of the medial head of the medial head of the tricep, and aiming for 15 to 20 reps. So I keep the reps higher on triceps since they already got a lot of heavy stimulus for my compound movements. Big thing is just trying to really keep the elbow in a fixed position. Don't let it flare out or move back or forward. Just keep it locked in place so you can really get a good tricep contraction. From there, just take a 60-second break and then go into body weight dips for as many as you can get. If you are getting over 20 reps on body weight dips, I would start adding weight on at that point. Or then hit failure in that and then rest another 60 seconds and just keep doing those until you complete 3 sets total. So that's it. That wrapped up my push session. It's not overly complicated, but there is a lot of flexibility that you can do within this plan to emphasize more triceps or shoulders. Again, I think the best way to progress is if you're able to use lots of compound moves, train them frequently, and have variations that you can rotate through. So I have like a workout A, B, and C that I work out through throughout the weeks. This by far has been what has really improved my chest, and it's been a lagging area, and this has worked. So I truly believe, like if you have lagging shoulders or triceps, you could, with the right exercise selection and order, you could definitely bring up those areas and also limit volume in your strong point areas, because you can't just train everything more. You eventually will overtrain. But that's my push session, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll see you guys next time.